Hello, everyone. Today I'll be going over AI rendering of Dominic Gerano's artwork by Cody Leonard, Mason Dunn, and Chase Glatzer for our Modern Humanities class. A little backstory about me. I'm Cody Leonard. I'll be the presenter today. I'm a 25-year-old who just got out of the military after 6.5 years. I was stationed here in Kentucky/Tennessee on the border in Clarksville. Then I did 3 years in Europe, traveling all over Europe, seeing the culture and good in humanities. I'm currently also attending Columbia State College here in Tennessee. Today's topics will be going over the original artwork, the AI's rendering of the artwork, a side-by-side comparison of both artworks, what the AI got right, what the AI got wrong, why this matters, and finally, we'll have the conclusion. Here we have the original artwork. This is one of his early artworks of an unknown man in a portrait format. I'm going to quickly go over and describe some things about the artwork. First thing, biggest thing that I saw when I looked at it, we have this green background. This was caused by cleaning with the pigmentation. Now I'm going to go over some subtle things that I like very much about this artwork. For me, the first thing that stands out when you actually start breaking down this piece is the eyes. Super high detail and like they just pop out at you. Then next we'll have like the facial structure of the person. I'll start off with the chin structure here. It seems very flowing and it seems very realistic, especially for how this guy's on more of the heavier side. Then the ears, like I said, very realistic. And then the depth of everything, the shadowing or shading on these just shows his actual true skills and how well he was as an artist. Now we have the AI's rendering. Here are some big things that stood out to me on this one. The details added to it that with the prompts that we gave it shouldn't be there. Adding the extra things here on the wall, this window with a city view, his posture, and the extra things are adding, like his hands, book, something about a memoir with someone's name on it, but this individual is unknown. So next we have the side-by-side comparison. First thing, I put both these facing each other because the AI flipped which way he was facing for the portrait. Second off, I'm going to break down the backgrounds. Like I said before, the green background on this was caused by a cleaning and a pigmentation. And the AI's background added a lot of extra things, like two books, one here, one here. This looks like to be some sort of pen and quill back in the time period. That's what they used to write. Then we have a pot for plant, a rug on the wall for a tapestry, a chair, a desk, the windowsill itself, and then we have the city view with four main things. Looks like another addition to the building or home he's living in currently. The river flowing to the city, which is very stereotypical for the time frame. In Renaissance, most cities were put on a lake, the coast, or a flowing body of water, i.e. river. Then we have the city itself with many watchtowers, churches you can see back there. When I was in Europe, even in the cities with the modern day, you will see churches every couple blocks, and this is pretty realistic for it. And finally, we have a castle up here on the hill. Back in the time period, most castles were put up there to protect the cities and the people. All right, the next we're going to go over clothing of them, of both individuals and renderings of these. Here we have the same cap in the maroon color. Then we're going to go to the gown. It still has a maroon gown on, especially in the original. You have a maroon, then a bright red overgown. But in the AI's rendering, he has an overgown in maroon. It looks like a corset and some other things, adding extra details to it. Then we're going to go over hands. On the AI's rendering, it's showing his hands crossed, trying to pose for it. But in the original art piece, they are not shown. Presumably, they're down by his side, just trying to sit there and pose. Now we're going to go over facial structure. Starting with the AIs, we're going to start with the chin. The chin is very sharp here, but does not look super realistic. Especially here, you can see an extra fold in them. And on the originals is a heavier set dude. The chin matches very well with it and shows a lot of detail done by it. Now we're going to go over the eyes. The eyes on the original art piece are way more in detail, look way more realistic to me. And the eyes on the AI's rendering, they're still good, but they could have been better, especially with the prompts we gave them. Now we're going to go over actual facial expression and structure. Starting with the forehead here on the AIs, we can see more wrinkles. He's kind of like scrunching up, and the AI shows a lot more depth there. And in the original, you can kind of see some wrinkles in it, but truly, I believe that it looks more realistic on the original, even if it looks not fully to most people. Now we're gonna go over hair. Hair looks pretty much identical on both these pieces, but the AI's looks more realistic like, showing AI's capability to add detail in certain areas. What the AI got right. Hairstyle, same hairstyle, subtle differences. Clothing style, I'd say it's about a 70% match for the time period, especially with the coloring, but the extra details the AI added is why I'm only giving it a 70%. Portrait format, still a portrait. They're both posing in a portrait format. Facial expression, they both have a blunt facial expression. Some subtle differences, some eyebrows raised, some cheek folds, and then age of the man in the portrait. They both look to be about in their early 30s to late 20s. What the AI got wrong. Which way the man in the portrait is facing. On the side-by-side comparison, this is why I made them both face each other. The stance, the man isn't different with him showing his hand, but in the original, he has his hands unable to be seen. To me, this shows a big thing with AI trying to show more of a story when it's rendering these kind of things. Background with the original having a green background and nothing else, and the AI adding extra details like the room, the city view, and all these different objects in there. Like I said, AI is always trying to tell a story, no matter what it's doing. Detail in the eyes. On the original, they're way more realistic than the AI's rendering. AI still, I believe, is in its infant stages and still has a long way to go before it can perfect a lot of things. And then number 5, finally, we have no brush marks can be seen on the AI's rendering, making it look like it's printed. With the prompt we gave the AI, it should have thrown in some things. This is also going back to the infant stages of AI. It can't fully do everything yet. Now, why this matters. This shows even with the advancements with the AI, they still cannot capture the true image. AI is to make things perfect in its own eyes and to tell a story, but for real artists, they have to show their own form of work by different art styles, by the way that they add their own details. Like I said, those eyes on the original art piece, this is where Dominic Giordano's skill set comes in. He's very big on like human details, and those eyes to me looked 10 times better than the AI's one. AI cannot replace everything and anyone. With AI, it cannot compare to its human counterparts with how they add their own details. AI, it did well on some things, adding extra details in the forehead. But when it came to like the eyes and the clothing and everything, it threw its extra details into the background, the tapestry, the objects, the city view. Very highly detailed, but still not the point we were looking for on this one. And now for the conclusion. Even though AI almost made it perfect, it shows how AI cannot imagine the true aspect of the art piece, showing even with advancement in technology, you cannot replace the human skills/creativity. Biggest thing with AI is, end of the day, it's just code. It doesn't have a full personality. Most of these artists threw their personality in there, their own little quirks to make their part or their art their own. AI, you just tell it what it wants. It's going to quickly make it and add small details. It's going to tell a good story, but it's not going to look as good as the original. Or if you put a modern day artist up against an I truly believe the artist will win 9 out of 10 times. Occasionally, the AI might win. AI is advancing quickly and rapidly. In the next 5 to 10 years, AI could be on par with modern artists, even older artists. Thank you all for listening. I hope everyone has a great day. Goodbye.